Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect. This is episode 229 and we're recording this on Sunday, October 8th, 2017. I'm David Lott. Joining me this week is Bobby Jackson.
What's up, everybody?
Jascha Wilson.
Hey, everyone.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good,
Awesome.
good. Happy day before the final Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer. Everyone excited?
For the mass sale.
I am. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know now. I saw where Rian Johnson now has come out and said, "Hey, if you don't want spoilers, don't watch the trailer tomorrow." But it's like, it's Star Wars. Even if you don't watch the trailer, how are you supposed to avoid any spoilers for this trailer all the way until December? It's next to impossible. So, do I watch it or do I not watch it, but then hear what the spoilers are, and then I might as well have watched it?
That's going to be the tough thing, man. I can't imagine I'll be able to like scroll through my Facebook feed, for example, and not come across like a Nerdist article where it's like just the headline.
The title.
Yeah, the headline, the title is going to like reveal whatever he's talking about, or even if I don't know if the way he says this, it does seem like maybe one particular thing is going to be a glaring, like, you don't want to know this. But I'm sure he's probably also saying that in a general, like, you don't want to see any more of the movie in general either. But what were you going to say, Jascha?
I was just going to say, I really don't believe that there's that many spoilers in the trailer that's about to drop. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure there's, we're going to see Luke talk. We may even see Luke do some action scenes or something to that effect. But I really have a hard time that they're going to release so much information that we're just like, oh, it's just going to totally ruin the movie experience for you in the fall or in a couple months. And I just don't buy it.
I don't buy it either that it's going to totally ruin the experience, but I don't know. He's been kind of preaching this for a little while now, though, when it comes to, I guess, this Last Jedi experience. It was back in August. He tweeted, I think in response to somebody, he said, quote, "More stuff is coming. That's the nature of the beast, but I fully endorse avoiding everything you can from now till December." And then Mark Hamill like jumped on that too, saying, "I fully endorse this Rian Johnson endorsement. Avoid everything you can from now till December," in all caps. And then, what the tweet that he just posted today was, "I am legitimately torn. If you want to come in clean, absolutely avoid it. But it's good," he wrote. So,
I mean, seriously.
Like, you're killing me, man.
Like, I mean, a big part of me is like, I don't want to see it. It's going to happen so soon. Like, just avoid it. And the other part of me is realistic. Like, there's no freaking way I'm going to avoid this. Like,
there's no way. You're not going to avoid it.
Everywhere. And I hear these.
I'm gonna try, because I mean, it's been since he wrote that thing back in August that I've been like, you know what? He says I shouldn't watch anything else, and fuck it, he's the director. I'm not gonna watch anything else. But you're right. That's gonna be tough.
I don't know how though.
I think what I'm going to do is try to avoid it, and the minute that I'm unable to, then I'm just going to say screw it and go ahead and watch the trailer, because what else can I do at that point? Then if that whole idea of something in it that's spoilerish gets to me, then the rest of it surrounding it is, well, what's the big deal about watching the rest of it then if I already know the spoiler part? So if I can avoid it and keep it pretty clean until December, so be it. If not, then I'll watch it. But I will try to avoid watching it as far as the trailer is concerned coming out tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I think I can buy into that plan too. That's probably what I'll do. I'll do my best, and then if I fail, be like, okay, well, I failed.
Give in. Yeah.
Let's check it out. We'll see. I don't know.
I think that's kind of where I'm at on it too.
Right. And then, tomorrow, I guess, after this drops, is the sale of tickets, which I'm not looking forward to, because that's going to be a madhouse.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one. I'm curious to know if it'll play out like it did a couple years back, Bobby, when you kind of gave me the heads up. I don't know how you found out that they kind of dropped the tickets for Force Awakens kind of dropped early.
Yeah, I forget completely how that happened, where I sort of found out just slightly before it happened. I think I was either scrolling on the internet or something, and I heard about it, and I was like, oh crap, it's out
Right.
now. It's earlier than they said, and so I made sure to hit up everybody and say, time to get tickets because they're gonna go quick, and sure enough, they went very quick.
And then now I'm even more kind of terrified about getting tickets because at least 2 years ago, at least around here, most theaters still weren't doing reserved seats. But now, any theater I want to see it in, and of course I want to see it in Dolby Cinema, I'm like, everything's reserved seats. So I'm like, fuck, man, I really want to jump on it as soon as I can and get tickets for that first showing. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's tomorrow night. Monday Night Football. Anyway, let's do our thing. Let's talk box office numbers, shall we?
Do it.
Let's do it. We're going to start with number 5 this week. At number 5 was Kingsman: The Golden Circle in its third weekend release at a little over $8 million. Number 4, My Little Pony the movie.
My Little Pony.
Did anybody see that?
Anyone? Anyone?
I didn't even know it came out.
Dude,
Like,
I didn't know there was a new My Little Pony movie.
Yeah.
Josh
I
sounded like
actually-
he was waiting for it.
I didn't know it was out.
It came out?
I actually
No.
did know, Sally.
Blade Runner?
You can always get Shannon to go with you to go if you want to check out that My Little Pony, Josh.
Are you
Damn right.
a brony, Jascha?
What'd you say?
Are you a brony?
What is a brony?
You've
What
never
the
heard
sh-
Oh
that?
no, you don't know what a brony is?
Well, then you're clearly not a brony. A brony is basically a man who's really, I guess, involved in liking My Little Pony. Like, I don't know what the full
No.
definition is, but basically it's like there's this group of men that they are all in on My Little Pony. Like, they're all in on My Little Pony the way, like, no, everybody else is on, like, Star Wars. Like, they are
Right.
in on My Little Pony. Like, they go to conventions. Like, it's a thing.
Yes.
Dude, I'm telling you. There was actually a documentary on it just a few years ago about bronies.
Yep.
Like, specifically just about bronies. Yeah, it's a thing. I can't make this up.
No, it's funny. I'm now find myself reading the Urban Dictionary definition of a brony.
What is it?
It starts off with a fan of the show. My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Often male, but female fans are not uncommon. But then, it goes on to say in this paragraph, bronies usually show a want to be accepted as normal people, but don't appear to realize that to be treated the same as anyone else, they need to stop making sure everyone knows and remembers that they are a brony at all times without fail. They also don't appear to understand that most people don't appreciate the internet being taken over by their fandom, which is another main cause for their hate of bronies.
Wow.
Oh, Urban Dictionary.
Wow. No words.
So what it is, yeah, so that's it's a brony.
That's usually everyone's first response when they hear about these bronies is there's no words really.
Right, the fact that there's a group of people that are obsessed about My Little Pony, and the reason why I say it's men is because it's bros. It's supposed to be like a brodom, like it's this like
A brodom.
right. It's like it's a guy thing, right? It's these guys. That's why it's called bronies.
Right.
Like it's guys enjoying My Little Pony specifically. Anyways, so yeah, sorry. So My Little Pony came out. How about
So My
that?
Little Pony in its first
Yeah.
week in release or first weekend pulled in 8.8 million. It was at number 3 in its 5th week at a little under $10 million. So it's still up there. At number 2 is another new release, The Mountain Between Us, with a hair over $10 million. I believe. Bobby, have you seen this?
I did see that this weekend. It's with Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. And the story is Kate Winslet is a journalist and Idris Elba plays a doctor, a brain surgeon. And they're both trying to get back to where they need to be in order to, in Idris' case, he needs to perform brain surgery on a patient. And Kate Winslet's character is getting married. And so they try to get on a small charter plane. They ends up going down. I can't remember the area in which it went down. I want to say Colorado or something like that. But basically it crashes, and they're forced to try and survive in that atmosphere, and really depend on each other to try and make it through everything that they're going through, and the going against the elements, also against their own sort of not knowing each other and trying to cooperate with each other, and get past this whole thing. And I'll say it's not anything in terms of the movie structure and what you're getting that stands out as anything important. But I think the thing that, if you want to go see this movie, what makes it worth it is the chemistry that you see on screen between Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. They're both A-list actors and are really great, and you buy into this this awkwardness, and yet their willingness to try and work through things as them being the actors that they are. I would say if you put two other actors in this movie, it's probably maybe substandard, but they kind of elevate it a little bit above what the movie it is in and of itself.
Yeah, I can see that. They're both incredibly powerful actors, and I've watched movies where they're just, you see it and it's just like, oh, this movie isn't going to be that great, but then they come in there and they're like, oh, well, it's good because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
If that person wasn't in it, then it wouldn't be good.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's the mountain between us. Thank you, Bobby.
No
And
problem.
I guess that brings us to our number one movie, which I think this is a movie we've all been kind of looking forward to talking about for a while, especially you, Michelle. So, what? No, you've been excited about this.
Oh no, I totally been excited about this. I figured everybody else was basically the same level as I was.
I don't know. I feel like you've been...
I've been a little more gung ho.
I think so. I could be wrong. I mean, trust me, I've been excited about it too, but
I was gonna say, I think we're all pretty
I
excited.
don't know. You stood out as extra pumped
okay.
about this. I think especially considering the director, you so loved Arrival.
I will say the director is definitely that was definitely my big like
Right.
Sorry.
And I
I'm
say
sorry.
that as
Is that
I also
awkward?
loved Arrival. But anyway,
Is that awkward?
of course, I'm talking about Blade Runner 2049, and I think this is worthy of a little trailer action. Why not?
I thought you might be able to help me with the case. Any idea where I could find him?
You police plan on taking me in.
I would much prefer that to the alternative.
Every leap of civilization was built off the back of slaves. Replicants are the future, but I can only make so many. I had the luck, and he has the key.
So yeah, that's some of the trailer for Blade Runner 2049, new film from Denis Villeneuve. This stars Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling, I believe I'm getting this right, Ana de Armas, I guess, and Jared Leto, just to name a few. So yeah,
I think I've heard it.
What's that?
Sorry, I think I've heard it pronounced Ana de Fares, but I who knows? I'm not really sure on that either. But
Yeah, I'm not.
sorry.
I could see Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm with that.
But yeah, so this was number one at the box office this week. But with that said, for this movie, it didn't exactly meet expectations. It only pulled in $31.5 million, $31 million bucks basically.
Which seems crazy to me because I feel like when you bring it up in random conversation with people, like, oh, so Blade Runner's coming out soon. They're like, oh, I know. Like, everybody gets excited about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so who the hell didn't go see this movie this weekend? Like, I'm like, what the hell
I
happened?
was seeing that some friends on Facebook that were talking about it, and I was reading some of the comment threads and some of their posts, and I was seeing a lot of that of people going, yeah, man, I saw it, and there was like that eighth of the theater was maybe full. Like a lot of people
That's
saying
just
that just really
crazy to
empty
me.
theaters.
Well, and the other thing is, and I can be very wrong, I feel like I didn't see very much promo for this film, like in the last like week or so leading up to this, like, you know, like online or in TV commercials, or I don't know. I feel like it really hasn't had that nice little like last week push to go to remind people like it's this week, it's this weekend. FYI, this weekend is when this is happening.
Right.
You know, and like I don't know. It's weird. It's like I think people know about it, but yeah, it's weird. It's not like anything else really came out this weekend. Really, I mean, there were other films that came out. But I'm just saying, like this was the movie for the weekend, and for I don't know. I'm surprised that this is all that's pulled in.
No, I'm surprised too.
I think the studio is going to end up taking a bath on it because from what I've heard, it was pretty much about $200 million to make this movie.
Ooh.
So yeah, the production cost ballooned. I think it was initially supposed to be about $100 million, and through all kinds of other things happening behind the scenes, it ended up getting up to like as from the reports is $200 million. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to lie. I literally don't understand. I'd love to hear people that are more in on this, like, explain this to me. Because I'm just like, really? Really? Like,
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, was football that important this weekend? I don't know.
I feel like it's just falling right in the same trap that the first one did, because the first one didn't do great in the theater either.
No, it didn't.
It wasn't big until it was on video and people actually took the chance to kind of watch it and be like, oh, hey, this is actually really good.
Well, with that, why don't we consult the good old Bowl of Destiny to decide who's going to get a ticket crack at this movie first. And Jascha. Oh, Michelle's so happy.
Okay, guys, don't be mad at me, but I haven't had a chance to watch it.
We just had this conversation. You're sitting there all quiet. You probably have beads of sweat on your forehead, and you're like, oh my God, Michelle's going to rip me a new one.
Yeah, I knew that it was coming, and I'm just like, this is gonna suck.
This is hilarious.
Oh my God, Jascha, are you serious? I mean, I get it. Life does get in the way. I totally understand.
No, like you have no idea. I've been so busy all weekend.
I get that. You got to go grocery shopping. You got to walk the dog. I mean, things add up. I totally get that. But are you kidding me with this?
I was so excited to see this movie. So it's like I'm still excited to see this movie, but I'm so sorry. I did watch my eye challenge, so we can talk about that, but I didn't get a chance to get to the theater.
That is important. I will give you points for that. I can't. Oh.
It's just funny considering what we were just talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I literally was just saying.
I kept my mouth shut. I was just like, this is gonna really suck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sitting here going, who didn't see this? What ding dongs didn't go to the theater? And Josh is probably sitting there with beads of sweat rolling down his forehead, like, oh my God, Michelle's gonna kill me.
Like, this is gonna suck. This is really gonna suck.
All right, Michelle. Well, you were excited that you weren't first, but let's see if you get a second chance.
Well, now I'm hosed. It's totally happening now.
All right. No, I got it.
Yes.
Lucky fucking me. No, sorry.
No, this is good. You always have really good opinions. I like hearing yours. And you and I don't talk, which is funny because we saw this film together, as usual, and it's a really big one.
Yeah. Saw this film together. We saw it in Dolby Cinema.
We did. The only thing we talked about was really more the theater experience and not so much the movie. I will say that's the only thing we commented on.
I'll start right with that. Yeah. I'll say right up front before I even give my opinion on the movie. If you're going to see this movie, see it like that. Like, oh my God, it looked so good and it sounded so good. The only thing I'll say about my Dolby Cinema experience this time around is that, they've got those seat shakers for the bass in your seats. And for the most part, I've always been impressed with the Dolby Cinema ones. Like, the only other theater I've been in that has those is an RPX theater, which is a Regal thing. And I remember, I think it was Baby Driver I saw in that. And it was just, the seat shakers were just too much. I was like, come on. Like,
I thought I was ready for liftoff at one point.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in that opening sequence, like, I sat there, I mean, I was shaking. I mean, like, I felt like my bones were reverberating inside of me.
Blade Runner.
Yes.
Okay, no. Well, yeah. So with Blade Runner, this was the only time I'd seen one in Dolby where I was like, oh my God, we can kill the seat shaking a little bit. Because there's so much bass at times in the mix that, man, it was like, whoa, like you're saying, I almost felt like it was in a rocket ready for liftoff.
Like, especially that first opening sequence. Like, I'm sitting there and I mean, I was shaking so bad. I know this is your review, but I just give you my, like, I was shaking. Like, I mean, everything was shaking. Like, my cheeks were shaking. That's why I felt like I was like, am I going to lift off for outer space right now? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
So yeah.
But
So I rewatched Blade Runner this week. It's been quite a while since I've seen that. It's funny how suddenly became tough to find a Blu-ray copy of that anywhere, even on Amazon. And I kind of wanted to watch like either the director's cut or the final cut, but I couldn't make that happen. So I ended up on iTunes. I didn't realize, I wasn't sure at first which cut I was watching, but yeah, it was definitely the theatrical cut. And I'm glad I rewatched it. It had been a while. I like the movie. I still feel the same as what I've said on here before, which is, I mean, for someone watching it for the first time, like anytime recently, like you did, Bobby, I can understand that maybe going into Blade Runner now, you'd be like, really? This is something that's really like highly regarded as great sci-fi? I don't know. Like, yeah. I get it. But it's to me, it's so much a product of its time, and I do have fond memories of it, and I do enjoy the atmosphere of it. So I still enjoy the movie. I would say though, yeah, that theatrical cut, there's definitely things about it that can go away, and that's why I wish I could have watched the director's cut or the final cut. Like that narration in it, the Harrison Ford narration in it is just bad. So anyway,
did you hear? Sorry to jump in, but I just read something recently about that, and they were saying that Harrison Ford didn't like the narration either. So the rumor is, I don't know if it's rumor or how much of it's actually true, but that because he didn't like doing the narration, he purposefully tried to mess it up, and they ended up using it anyway. So that could be why it sounds so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like one of those things that's probably a good theory, but I could believe that because it is like Harrison Ford's a good actor. Like this, it's not good delivery.
No, it's a really dry reading of what the script. Like it's bad. It's
bad. But anyway, I watched that the night. I think it was the night before we saw the sequel, or maybe 2 nights before. So yeah, I was also a big fan of Arrival, so I had pretty high expectations for however Villeneuve was going to handle this movie, and yeah, I was quite impressed with Blade Runner 2049. It's gorgeous to look at, it's gorgeous to listen to, and I also was very happy with the story. I mean, I can imagine there's some people that might watch this and feel like it's still like the story is a bit slow at times, but I don't know. It's Blade Runner, and especially if you consider comparing it to the first film. Now the first film feels basically like kind of a lead into this, more so than its own kind of great film. Like, no, this is a superior film to the original Blade Runner, and yeah, now that feels like it's just like a kind of pre-story to what the real movie is, which is this movie right here. I was very happy with it. Just I don't know, it was long, but I could very easily go and sit through this movie again like tomorrow. Just knowing if I could have that experience in that movie theater again, that's the thing I will miss once you can't do that anymore. I mean, sure, we're all getting bigger and bigger TVs in our homes and great home theater systems, but nothing will match seeing this kind of movie in that kind of movie theater. Like, I might have to do it again. I might have to. It was quite good. So, yeah. I mean, and without talking spoilers, I don't know what else to really say about it. I would say if I'm trying to think of maybe any negatives I have about it. One thing I'll say. One character / I don't know if it's the character or if it's the actress that I felt like seemed out of place to me. It was Robin Wright's character in this movie. I feel like every time we encountered her, something about her in this she didn't seem to fit the aesthetic of the movie I was experiencing. I don't know, just something about the way she acted. Just, I don't know. If there was anything I kind of wish was recast, and I'm a Robin Wright fan, I don't have any problems with her by any stretch of the imagination, but I just feel like something didn't fit about her in this movie.
I have thoughts on that.
But other than that, yeah, this is quite an excellent film, and I'm very happy with it. That's all I got.
Wow, short and sweet
Short and
this
sweet.
week. Wow.
Again, you guys will probably share your thoughts, and then I'll remember other things, but that's really all I got. And with that, Michelle, you're next.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. The experience in the Dolby Theater is definitely something that should not be missed. If you're going to see this film, see it in the best quality theater you can possibly go to. I mean, I'm hands down, it is worth every penny you will spend for that ticket. The movie is gorgeous. I loved it. I'm just going to say, all right, I loved this film. Like, I mean, it's in the top 10 for the year for sure. I just can't see very many other things this year blowing this out of my top 10. It'll be excruciatingly hard if something did. It's absolutely beautifully done. I think Mr. Villeneuve. Yeah, I know. You keep right. It's sad. You know, I love this director, and I cannot say his name to save my life. I love this director, dude, and I cannot say his name to save my life. It is so sad. Anyways, he put together a piece of art that I am exceedingly happy I was able to experience in person in movie theater in the manner I did. That was absolutely gorgeous. The cinematographer he worked with, Roger Deakins, I mean, I just want to like stand up and just clap. Like, it was gorgeous. Just the way every frame was done, I think the color schemes, just all of it, it just melded. It was like, I don't know. It was just a really amazing piece of art. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. And then the blending of the music. I mean, and the music is hauntingly beautiful. It can be very harsh, like the landscapes that you're in, like the way the story goes. It just, yeah. And yeah, I totally agree with you, David. Like, I feel like this is the true story. This is what you're waiting for. The original Blade Runner, while it is what it is, was, you know, it was set up for this story. This was the story that had to be told. And it's just, you just don't see that. You don't see a sequel just, you know, leaps and bounds over a storyline from its original. Like, that just doesn't happen usually. It's so rare in film to see a technically a sequel film completely upstage the original. Doesn't happen very often, and this does, and it was amazing. Yeah, there's definitely gonna be people that are gonna have issues with the runtime on it, but like you said, like, you're watching Blade Runner, like, you need to kind of just understand what's going on. I mean, there's people that have, I know, were saying like, oh, they could have easily chopped off 40 minutes of it. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I think you're talking crazy. At most, I could see 10 minutes possibly getting chopped. Like, I'm talking at most. But every movement, every step, every look, everything was expressing an emotion that was so strong and poignant that I feel like if you didn't have a certain look that Gosling gave, or a pause, or like a hold of a breath between certain actors and scenes, you wouldn't feel the emotions that were happening there. And it just, I don't know, it was just all conveyed like a symphony. It was wonderful, and I'm very excited to see this. And like, this is a film, you have to realize this is 35 years after the original. 35. Like, the original's as old as I am. Like, right. It's insane to me. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I will say I don't have issues with this film. Like, if I do, they're very excruciatingly nitpicky. I will piggyback a little bit on what you said about Robin Wright. I don't think it's her. I think she actually aesthetically fits. I almost feel like she didn't know how to portray this character, and or possibly they were still working out how they wanted this character to be done. Because, yeah, there's so many moments where it's like she's the staunch, you know, cop in charge, and then other moments she's almost portrayed too softly in a light, like too almost human. And I hate to say that, like almost just too average, you know, with feelings and emotions and confusions and whatever. And I don't know. It almost would have been better if it was just in one direction instead of like trying to make her layered. It almost made Robin almost fumble through it in a way to have such a layering to the character. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they tried to go too deep, and it was just like this is a character we don't need to have depth to. But overall, I mean, I feel like aesthetically Robin fits. I think it works out. But her and I don't even want to say it's her performance. I think in a way they tried doing too much, going too deep on a character that just didn't need any depth.
And I misuse the word aesthetically too. I don't mean the way she looks. I mean, I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
I remember even thinking that in the trailer, and you see this shot of her like looking out the window in her office, and I remember even then thinking there's something about the look of her in this that just feels like it stands out like from everything else I'm seeing. And I really, it probably makes no sense. Just something there. And again, that's very nitpicky. This is not a big complaint of mine. It's you know what? If you wanted to be like, hey, David, you had to change one thing, what would it be? I don't know, something about that character or maybe a different actor in that role. I don't know what it is, but that's, again, super nitpicky.
Yeah. So we both have an issue there. It's just that it looks like I'm more the character itself and you're more the actress.
I think.
Right.
But I don't even know. Like,
right. I will say, and I'm hoping it's not too spoilery, but in the brief times you do get Jared Leto in this film, fucker's creepy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no other way to say that. Like, oh my God. Oh, like... Well, I don't know. It was almost, and I hate to kind of compare to this, but it was almost, there's moments like the way he was speaking and like the conviction he has in his thoughts and what he's saying out loud was almost Hannibal Lecter-esque. Like, it was just like, wow, like you're deep, dude. Like, you're deep in this way of being. But yeah, and real quick, I'll just go back really fast. I will say, like, again, it is just so beautifully done, and I love the juxtaposition of all of the landscapes that you have. There's that like protein farm that you're on that's just really gray and stark, and then you go to the junkyard, and it's just it's a burnt feeling and color and look, and it's just every scene was just different. Like. Los Angeles was just so neon and clustered and populous, and you feel it. Like, you don't even see people, and you just know, like, looking at it, you're just like, oh my God, like, it's dense. Like, it's dense just from the way it looks, and it's amazing to me. And yeah, that combined with the sounds and the music, good night. I can just go on and on about that. I loved this film. It's for sure in my top 10. Like I said, like, it's up there. Like, it is up there. I can call it now, just like I did with Arrival. Like, this bad boy's in there. Harsh. It's way in there.
Like, I mean, the reviews that it's been getting, and then to hear you guys just rave about this movie has got me really even more excited to see it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up because Bobby's got to have some good stuff to say. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah, so I won't even mince words. This movie is pretty damn great. I think for me, Denis Villeneuve he has a perfect track record, and I'm just continuously rooting for the guy. I've never even been a Dune person, but hearing that he's on that now makes me look forward to it and make me think that he's going to do something special with it. Because I keep going back to what he said at Comic-Con when he talked about why did he decide to do this movie, and his answer was he didn't want anyone else to F it up, but he actually said, the actual word. So it was just like, wow, for someone to drop that kind of a statement down means he had some sort of singular vision for this that he really felt was worth telling and could do it properly. And mad respect to him for actually having the balls to go out and do it and do it well, because anyone else probably would have messed this up and it wouldn't have come off looking the way that it did. This felt like it was a natural extension of that first movie. And like you said, David, I had watched it and only recently. So to me, it definitely felt like a product of its time. And where the first one, I admired what it was going for visually. The story didn't quite hit on all cylinders for me. Whereas with this one, I think everything worked from the visuals to the story to the sound. I'm not even that big of a score person. A lot of times, I don't have anything against score. It's just that I'm so into the visuals and story that a lot of times score just sounds like background, and I really remember stuff. But with this one, I definitely remember it because it had such a distinctive sound to it, and the way it was mixed into the movie. And as you mentioned with the Dolby Cinema Vision or Dolby Vision or no Dolby Cinema, it that was the same sort of experience I had with it. And it wasn't so much that the bass bothered me; it was just that the timing of the bass sometimes would come in out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh, okay, you made me jump, and I wasn't expecting to have to jump in the movie because of the bass that would kick in at just these times when that theme sort of comes in. But it was just all so well done, and I think what this one really did to for me in a way that I wasn't expecting is the world building, where this feels like something that could naturally have a multiverse or a universe built around it, because there's so many different things in this movie that can be explored further, and not just in concepts and ideas but in locations. There's a whole planet where there's kids on it, and there's not any real adults around other than one guy. You could see stories coming out of there. I could see a movie or a book or audio book of just what that world is like, and what they have to do going on in that place. Or even during the time of when this is talked about slightly in the movie, but not really shown. But there was a blackout. I would be interested to seeing that, or hearing it about it, or reading about it, just because I'm sure there's like an interesting story to tell there as well. There's just so much rich history and mythology that's been established just in this movie that it really lends itself to being a cinematic universe, and without trying so hard to be one. Whereas with the Universal monsters and them trying to force it on you, this feels naturally like it can have its own extension of so many other stories that could come out of it. And it just does such a good job of being able to get at the root of the issues that, and the thoughts and the ideas that were brought up in the first Blade Runner, and really sort of run with those ideas and take them into a different direction, but a direction that feels natural, that it could be something, and gives you more fodder for thought. And it's just so well done all around. And I'm really happy with this movie because, as you guys sort of mentioned, this is a step above the original in ways that you don't always get a sequel to be better than the original movie. But for at least for me, this definitely feels like this is a better sequel than the original. And I just think they did such a fantastic job with it that there'll have to be some sort of recognition come award season time. I don't know in where and what area, but it's just there's so much goodness here that they have to be picked up for something along the way.
Oh yeah, I mean easily cinematography, the actual soundtrack, sound mixing, directing, script, story. I mean all of the. I mean I would say literally just a multitude of categories I could see this getting nominated for. There's things. The only thing I could see where there's not going to get a lot of nominations is going to be the actual acting, and it's not that the acting was bad. Because I will honestly, the other thing I was going to say is that I feel like Ryan Gosling did a really good job. There was such a controlled restraint that he had for so many things. I mean, as weird it is, even just breathing. Like I'm watching him and I'm just like, there's a lot of restraint and a lot of control happening, and there's a lot conveyed just in simple looks that he had, and I was impressed. I was like, you go, boy. Like
it's funny that you mentioned that, because not only did Ryan do a good job, but I actually felt like Harrison Ford did a good job. Like he wasn't just sort of just showing up and just reciting some lines. It felt like he had personal stakes in this movie, to where he was in there and present for the movie, and not just kind of just going through the motions. This really felt like a performance by Harrison Ford.
But yeah, I mean, and like I said before, Leto, I mean, like I said, not in it for a lot, but when he's in it, God, like, I mean, just like creepy just in depths that I can't even begin to explain without spoiling. Like, it's just his mentality and just his belief. Like, you're like, oh, it's haunting. Like, like it's a whole nother level. But yeah, no, I was really impressed with Gosling's performance in this. I feel like he's an actor that he is getting better with everything he does. He keeps challenging himself.
Yeah, I think we all sound like we agree pretty much
Jascha.
exactly how we feel in this movie, and I think we can all agree that it's a bummer that this movie didn't make nearly the amount of money we wish it had made. I want to say real quick, I know we're not talking spoilers, so I'm going to be extremely vague about this, but I think it will make sense to people who have seen this movie. But I will say there's one moment that happens in this movie that I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I definitely kind of anticipated this happening, and sure enough, it happened. And I will say it was handled. It looked good, so it worked for me. And I don't know, it's so hard to really say any more than that because I don't want to talk spoilers, but. Just one thing that happens in this movie. Michelle's giving me a inquisitive, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it like the only thing that you and I even talked about?
No, we didn't talk about this.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say, because it was really rough. It was tough. I would say, there's a lot of movies that you and I come out of, and we're usually pretty good about not even wanting to talk about it. And we just kind of going, I'm not going to lie, I was having a hard time, like, not being like, dude, like, losing my shit. Like, I was trying so hard. That was, like, the hardest car ride ever. I was like, I just want to be like, is your head exploding the way my head's exploding right now? Because I'm kind of losing my mind over here. And it was so challenging this time. And usually we just kind of go on with our day and we're like, oh, so, yeah, how was work? Work was good? Great, cool. You know, like, it's just, this was challenging. And now we're going to have to, I got to know.
No, you don't know. I guess I'm being too vague.
I was going to say, I think I know what you're talking about.
You're talking about the big reveal?
I'd have to agree that it was done very, very well.
Yeah, it was done well. It's the kind of thing that isn't always done so well.
Okay, no spoilers, please.
Dang it! Dang it! Yeah, I know. Jascha, you got to go see this movie this week, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm not talking spoilers. I'm really
No. Josh, you got to go see this film, dude. Everybody needs to go see this film. I'm talking to Jascha, but everybody needs to go see this film. Like, oh my god, like.
And yeah, it's long, but yeah, I agree. I wouldn't cut anything from this movie. I mean, I was happy to sit and watch this for almost 3 hours.
It was
absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I might give this another viewing as well while it's in theaters, because I did really just like it overall, and just the visuals and trying to pick up on some other nuanced things on a second viewing, I think would be worth it. So I have a feeling if there's not too much else coming out within at least the next week or two, I might try and give this a second viewing.
I mean, you just get enveloped in this world so quickly in this film. You are in. Yeah.
So yeah, that's Blade Runner 2049. Now it's come and gone. With that, we're going to switch things up and do things a little out of order than we normally do. And we're going to go ahead and go into our I Challenge You segment. Which, Jascha, you have been next in line to be challenged.
You are the chosen one.
For those who have never heard this segment before, every week one of us is challenged to watch something we've never seen before. It could be for whatever reason. Either we just never wanted to see it, we just missed it for whatever reason, who knows. But we're challenged to watch it, and then that person has the chance to challenge the next person. So, Jascha, you were challenged by Bobby last week. And what did you have to watch?
I had to watch It Follows.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forgot what movie it was.
If I remember correctly, David, did you say that you really enjoyed this movie?
Oh, I could see this coming.
Oh, boy.
That is what you said, right? You really enjoyed this movie?
Yes, I very much enjoy It Follows. I will not apologize for that. I was a big fan.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's
To each his own, huh?
Yeah, to each his own. I mean, there's no account for taste. I don't know if I'm going to go see Blade Runner now off of that. No, I'm kidding. Actually, you know what? It started off a little campy for me. Well, actually, the first scene was kind of jarring. The first 15 minutes, and so I was like, "Oh wow, that was really, really intense."
Right.
And then it started. I don't know, man. I honestly am like, I go back and forth on this movie. It was really interesting. I really do enjoy how it ended because it really kind of leaves you in a place where you're like, "Oh, dude, what in the holy hell?" Like, and you're just kind of wondering what's going to happen and what happens to this thing or what it follows. It was the best part about this movie that I enjoyed was the directing. And it may not be necessarily the story that I really enjoyed, but I loved the camera angles that they used to run away from it, quote unquote, it, or whatever that was chasing them at times. The wide panel shots, the openness that they used, the constant direction that they kind of pointed you in fear, and you weren't really sure what direction you were going to be looking at to get that fear. It was weird, man. It was a really weird movie. So I guess you could say I did enjoy it. I did find it really, really weird, though. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I didn't really feel like it had too much of a resolution for me. But at the same time, that's also something that I kind of enjoyed. Like, you're just kind of like, oh, well, this is still going on. And it was just kind of really messed up. It was really messed up. I did, I wasn't sure about it after when I first started it, but once I kept going with it, I was just like, all right, yeah, I can see why David would enjoy this. This is kind of cool. This is all right. This is different. The directing is really what did it for me, and the suspense with the music was really quite creative. It was very interesting. It was good. It's definitely worth a video rental. I'm glad I didn't see that in the theater, but it's definitely worth like checking out on Netflix because it is on Netflix.
Cool. Sweet. You didn't hate it. My God.
Yeah, I'm sure you were really on pins and needles on whether or not I was disappointed in that movie.
I mean, no, I liked it. So of course other people go to see it. I'm not the one to challenge you to watch it, but
It's true.
Somebody watches it that I know. Of course I'd hope, oh yeah, I hope you have the same experience I did. And I get that it's not a movie that is just overwhelmingly like, not everyone raves about it. And I'm not saying I raved about it per se, but I did really like it. I thought it was a little unique, and I don't know.
No, I'll give you that. It definitely was unique. And
Right.
it was a movie that kind of, I feel like, I hope they don't try and do a sequel or anything like that to it. I feel like this is a movie that just kind of goes in a circle over and over again on whether or not you can talk to people about the ending, and it's just they'll take it one way and some people will take it a completely different way. And I kind of like that about the movie. You have to argue to the effect of like what you want to believe when it comes to it. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it, but it was definitely interesting. It's definitely a messed up story, but it was definitely interesting.
Sweet. Well, you've seen It Follows, and now you get to challenge someone else.
Okay.
Who and what shall it be?
Well, we're going to definitely stick with the horror theme here since it is Halloween and we're getting closer and closer to it. I think I'm going to start with Michelle.
Oh, I had a feeling you were going to go to me.
Okay, I'm going to first ask about this one movie that I really, really enjoyed, and then I'm going to ask about an independent film that I really enjoyed, and one of the reasons I enjoyed it is because it is an independent film. It was they used to do something out here. I don't know if they do it out there in Florida. It's like top 8 horror movies that you have to just watch. Mm-hmm. And it's like you can only go on certain days, and these movies are very limited, and it's like only at big theaters that they play that. Have you ever seen the movie The Hamiltons?
I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
I'm saying is very okay. Oh, are we doing research now?
Oh yeah.
You're looking it up.
I'm super looking this up. Bring up IMDb. 2006? Oh shoot.
Yes.
You are not making me watch this. I'm looking at the poster. Are you shitting me right now? What? Oh man, this is gonna be rough.
So wait, what are you seeing over there?
It's not gonna be as rough as you think. Honestly, it's not gonna be as rough as you think. But there are some pretty graphic moments, and it is pretty it's pretty interesting.
Oh, Jascha.
I I really enjoyed the movie.
Do you understand that the
not,
directors are known as the Butcher Brothers? Like, are you understanding? Like, I'm sitting here like reading this, and I'm like, my stomach's churning just looking at this.
Dude,
oh
I
my
want
god!
to watch this.
Oh.
Well, you know, if you would like to pass it, you can pass it. I guess.
No.
David, if David wants to take it on, I don't know if David
this
wants to allow
challenge.
Oh no! I mean, I'll take it. I'm just saying. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
jumping. I'm not jumping through hoops because I'm concerned. And you know, it's frustrating. Like, I enjoy horror, but I have a weak stomach, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I am very squeamish.
Okay, I watched
And
this
I
movie
love
when
horror.
I watched this movie when it first came out, and I don't remember it having that much blood in it. There are moments when it is pretty graphic, but it's not super. It's not like Rob Zombie graphic. It's not like a slasher movie type of graphic if I remember. Like, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember that I really enjoyed it, and I thought it because I liked the story, and it's kind of like that horror or death where it's like you don't see the horror or death, but it's implied.
Kind of like
That
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, or something like that, you know. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I like the idea of the story, and you know, these kids kind of moving on over and over again, and it's interesting. It's, you know, watch the trailer and let me know what you think. It's really twisted. I'm not going to tell you it's not, but it is.
I mean, I'm not going to watch the trailer. I say it's on Amazon, so I'm just going to rent it and just jump into it.
Right on.
All right.
The other movie that I was looking at was has everybody seen Let Me In?
Actually, no, I never did.
Oh, I did see that one actually.
Oh wait, no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I did see
You
that
didn't see
one.
that one?
That one's actually really good.
No.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good. It has Chloe Grace Moretz. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And it's a remake from a Japanese movie.
Japanese movie, yeah. The Japanese movie, the Japanese movie is better. Shockingly, okay. I'm sure it doesn't surprise. I've seen both. I've seen the original and I've seen the remake, and the remake is good. The Japanese version is definitely better. It's creepier.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all. That really actually doesn't surprise me at all.
You guys got to see this. I'm surprised you guys have. I'm surprised you haven't actually, David.
Yeah, I was meant to. Just missed it.
No,
Bobby,
it's good.
You guys both got to see it because that movie. I found that movie remarkable. Like, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Right. I would almost I would say, I'm gonna stop talking now. Actually, I had a thought.
What?
I'm gonna watch the Hamiltons.
What? You're already thinking of your next challenge?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So the Hamiltons it is.
Sweet. Good luck, Michelle.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm concerned. I mean, I'll do it, but I'm concerned.
Just looking at that poster, I'm looking at the poster too right now, and I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. That's all I'll say.
Right.
All right.
Make sure I'm well hydrated that day.
All right. All right. Well, that's I challenge you for this week, and that's pretty much it. Before we go, though, I was curious to ask at least you, Bobby, and I figure I can guess your opinion on this, Michelle. But we finally got our first look at Pacific Rim Uprising the other day. Oh, the look on Michelle's face! If only you could see it, Bobby.
Well, I can picture it. I can picture it too.
Yeah, that trailer dropped during New York Comic Con, and I'm curious to know what you thought of it. We haven't talked about it yet.
Well, my biggest thing with the Pacific Rim and also now Pacific Rim 2, all I've ever wanted from this franchise is robots fighting monsters. That's it. Simple put. No, doesn't have to be a story about anything else. I don't care about the characters themselves. Just give me robots fighting monsters. And this trailer delivers on that absolutely. It just looks like it's action-packed monster, kaiju monsters versus these big mech robots. And beyond that, I will say aesthetically it looks different than Guillermo del Toro's version. This one looks a little bit more Transformer-ish, but honestly, I'm okay with it because the designs of the Pacific Rim mechs look better to me than the designs of the Transformers, where it seems a bit messy and noisy, and this looks a little bit cleaner in the design. And aesthetically, it is more glossier than the Del Toro version. But as far as what it looks like they're going to give us, it looks like it's going to deliver on what I want, which is just monsters and mechs fighting, and I'm in for it.
Yeah, I kind of have the same opinion as you on this, I guess. I mean, I'm in. I mean, I like the first movie, of course. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I mean, so of course I'm going to go see this. But yeah, it doesn't obviously have that Guillermo del Toro aesthetic about it. I mean, he obviously directed the first film, and he's not involved with this. I think probably he's on as a producer. I can't remember. But
yeah, I believe executive producer.
But who knows how much he was really involved? You know, especially if it's just executive producer, it's almost probably nothing. So,
well, from what I understand is when I think Stephen DeKnight had mentioned that Guillermo del Toro is kind of like how I think Denis Villeneuve said that
Ridley Scott was with that.
Ridley Scott was, whereas like he wasn't looking over his shoulder, but if he needed anything, then Del Toro was more than happy to give his opinion or thoughts. But pretty much he was just there as just an executive producer.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard not to then watch this trailer and be like, oh man, it's just. I that first time I watched it, I kind of had this feeling of I feel like now it's like the Fast and the Furious meets Pacific Rim. Kind of thing, you know, like especially with this younger cast in this, which I'm like, I don't know what I think of that, and I don't know. I will say, you know, again, I like the first movie. I'm gonna go see this, but I don't have high hopes for it. Sadly, I mean, I fear it's definitely not going to be like my experience with this first movie, which I still will not apologize for enjoying. I really dig that first film. I think it's a lot of fun, but. This one, I'm not getting my hopes up, so that's kind of where I am with it. Because it just doesn't seem like it's going to be the same. It seems like it's trying to play to a different audience than me now. You know, like a wider audience, like a Fast and Furious audience. And I say that as I've always been a big defender of Fast and Furious. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think Fast and Furious though has kind of jumped the shark for me now. But I mean, for the longest time, I like it for what it is, but I wasn't wanting that in this. So anyway, that's where I am. Michelle, any thoughts on this?
I don't care. I will say for a trailer as a whole, it kind of looks like they're giving away a lot of the big fights. Their fight, I guess.
Yeah.
It looks like they're giving a lot of the storyline away in this trailer. Like right up front, I was like, "Wow, I kind of feel like I know where this is going." Like it just seemed like it was giving away a lot, and I was like, "Well, that's kind of a downer." Like, just the whole, I just feel like trailers shouldn't try to do that. But yeah, it does kind of have this like Transformers meets Power Rangers meets Fast and Furious kind of feel to it. It's definitely, again, it's not Del Toro, so it's a lot vividly colorful and brighter, you know, it's obviously, but I mean, yeah, I don't really care.
No.
But that would be my opinions on the trailer.
Cool. But that's all I got, unless you guys have anything else.
I got one last thing. I don't think we can get out of here without talking about the fact that there was a Justice League trailer that dropped today.
Oh shit, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah.
Just happened today.
We got to talk about this real quick then.
So you guys did see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts? It is a good trailer. It definitely, I think, will do the job. I haven't been reading a lot of opinions out there on it yet, so I don't know what people are saying about it.
I don't know.
I've seen a little bit of murmuring on my Facebook feed, and those opinions have mirrored mine, which is like, take all my money, you know, take all my credit cards. I can't wait to see this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, this trailer is well cut. This trailer, I think, works. I think this trailer could do a good job of really maybe pulling in a lot of people who are skeptical, and that includes me. I mean, and I'm a DC guy, and I have been very skeptical about Justice League. And don't get me wrong, I still am, but this looks good. hopefully we're not just getting a great trailer, because you know what, we've had really great trailers in the past for these movies. And they haven't always panned out. So I'm looking at you, Suicide Squad. I'm looking at you, Batman versus Superman. So yeah, but
I mean, like, I watched it and my first reaction was, dude, where the hell has this trailer been this whole time? Like, they were really holding on to this bad boy till the bitter end. Like, I'm watching this trailer and I'm looking at it, and I would say maybe they could have not put the first, 15, 20 seconds of its trailer, and I'd have been okay with that.
You didn't really care for that?
I like it, but I feel like they probably didn't need to do that. If that makes sense. But,
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's not like you would be spoiling anything if you mentioned it, but yeah.
I mean, it's in the trailer. It's not really a spoiler, but
no, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
But as a whole, though, I'm watching this and I'm like, yes. Oh, this is the Justice League I grew up, looking at when I was a kid. The cartoon, like, just the way they kind of were with each other, and the feel you were getting from this trailer. I don't know. I was like, this is Justice League. Like, I feel like this is what I've been waiting for. And like I said, I sat there watching and going, where the hell has this trailer been? Like, we're holding on this bad boy to the bitter end. Yeah, I know. I mean, I've been curious about this film, and I've been like, oh, okay, I'm timid, and not timid. I guess just unsure, very unsure about this film. But this is definitely I'm swinging in the believer side, so we'll see what happens. And I feel like it's been a lot of fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I guess shame on me again. Fool me 3 times. Oh, we got Wonder Woman. Oh, okay, that's great. Wonder Woman's great, lovely. Yeah. So now I'm like, oh crap.
Right.
What are we gonna get? And it's just, I don't know. It's rough, but yeah.
Bobby.
Well, I mean, you guys have known, I've said it many times on this podcast, that the trailers for Justice League, I've been in since the beginning on it. I've not had any issues with any of the trailers, and Justice League is the movie I've been looking forward to since I was 9 or 10 years old. So for me, all the hopes and everything, dreams are riding on this movie, because while I will say I'm more specifically a fan of Marvel stuff, I'm almost like equal towards DC. It's pretty damn close. It just slightly leans in Marvel's favor, but DC and the Justice League was probably my first big exposure to superheroes, and so they've always been special to me, and I've just always been looking forward to seeing this in film. And what I got from this trailer, I don't know how true it is, but I feel like this was a great blend of Zack Snyder visuals and Joss Whedon humor.
Right.
And it just felt like it really married the two in a beautiful way. And I'm hoping that's what that is and what we're seeing, because it really looked like it worked, and especially well in this trailer. So I'm really looking forward to it, even more than I already was.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to be more excited after this trailer. It's well done.
Yeah, this trailer definitely gets you going.
And as for that first bit with the little bit we see of a dream sequence with Superman in it,
Clark.
with Clark, I should say. But when it comes to that, for me, like, I was immediately pulled in by that and the music and everything, because it reminds me of everything I loved about Man of Steel.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Like, and this is just him standing in a field, and I'm like, oh, Henry Cavill. I fully am like, oh man, I really want another Man of Steel, another Superman movie.
Dude, preaching to the choir.
So anyway, yeah, I dug it. Still skeptical, but God, I hope it's good. I really do. But with that, it's time to get out of here. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening. You can let us know your questions and comments at feedback@flickereffect.com. You can also find us on all of the various social media accounts out there in the world. Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. If you're looking for links to those accounts, just go to our website over on the right-hand side. I'm David Lott.
I'm Bobby Jackson.
And by the way, Jascha had to kind of dip out early, so I'll say bye for Jascha. I'm Jascha Wilson.
And I'm Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for listening.
Jascha.